Good evening, and welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture. We're doing a comic book review today, or maybe I should say graphic novel. Book One of Dracula, The Impaler, by Matt Wagner and Kelley Jones, with Jose Villarrubia. This came out very recently. There was a Kickstarter that I had, thrown my money into, but I do believe this book is out for sale nowadays. Use Google, use Amazon. Come on, folks, it's not that hard. And if you're not willing to put in the work, you just don't get to have a gorgeous piece of comic art like this. And it is a gorgeous piece of comic art. Now, I will also say, this is not for children in the least. I'm going to show some of the pages so you can see the artwork and get a feel for it. This is going to be a spoiler-free review to an extent. I might throw the little spoiler thing up at some point so I can talk about a certain point in the book. But for the most part, spoiler-free. But there are some pictures in here that would be considered kind of naughty. And I won't be showing those just because I try to keep this more of a, all ages kind of channel, and I don't want to have to deal with YouTube freaking out on me. So there could be some edits in the middle here as I flip through. So let's take a look at the art and get a feel for this piece of work, because I think it is significant and quite good. Oh, good. We can fit most of the pages in here. Nice piece, Wolf and the Moon. And what you have in this book, and as I said, this is part one, or I should say book one. There will be follow-ups to this. Dracula, written by Matt Wagner, art by Kelley Jones, color art by Jose Villarrubia, letters by Bob Lee, standard and limited edition covers by Kelley Jones with Jose Villarrubia, I probably should say Villarrubia, variant cover by Matt Wagner with Brennan Wagner, or Lock Press. This looks like it's going to be a good series. A lot of quality here. We start off with a little text. To give you some background, this book is an attempt to weave together multiple legends of Dracula and out of it create something that's new, that's original, but that honors what's come before. So it's a nice little intro, nice little opening. We got the image there, famously of Vlad the Impaler. And then we begin. The framing for this is that we're reading sort of from you might call it the diary of Dracula. And this is very much his origin. So you can see from this, again, not for children. These are people put to the stake by Vlad the Impaler at the Battle of Targovist, 1462. You can see the quality of the artwork. It is visceral, it is bloody, it is gory. It's Kelley Jones, and if you know Kelley Jones' work, you have a pretty good idea of what you're getting here. And this is really some of his best work, as far as I'm concerned. It's well written. Wagner does his research. One little quibble I do have, he sometimes uses anachronistic language. Now, and we see here they're being attacked by, I'm trying to think what the word they use for it is. A Wardolak. So a sort of a vampire. You can see the fangs reminiscent of Nosferatu. So as far as the anachronistic language, it's typically in curse words. Doesn't completely take you out of the story. but it's noticeable. It's like, oh, and I kind of get it. If you're changing the language here, which you are, obviously nobody would be speaking English, and you're going to modernize it to some degree, you might as well modernize the cursing as well. Modern day cursing, modern day slang hits people in a particular way that you might be trying to hit them with what you're saying. So the story is basically Dracula with one of his loyal servants having to flee from the battle with the Turks. They're badly outnumbered. And they're making their way to this place where he can become a student of the devil, so that he can learn magical power that will give him revenge on his enemies. He wants to dominate his enemies. In fact, he wants to dominate everything around him. That is the driving goal in his life. He does not want to be inferior to anybody. And so they go on this quest through the wilderness. They have to encounter some supernatural entities, including this hag. And he has to make a bargain with her to find out this location. And it's kind of gross. But he successfully makes that bargain. He does what she demands of him. And on they go, and they come across this guardian. And at this point, we get what would seem to be an amazing betrayal, as Dracula kills and beheads this man who was absolutely loyal to him, did everything for him. But he needs a sacrifice. And that sacrifice is going to be this guy. This gives you a very good idea of who Dracula is and what lengths he will go to get what he wants. So he finally makes it to this place, and here he has an encounter with Lucifer, who appears as this black-eyed child and whatever else he wants to. And he's going to meet the other students in this place. And the idea is they will have a certain amount of time where they can have access to Lucifer's library. They study on their own. He will appear to find out what progress they're making. But otherwise, they're on their own. They can leave the place at night, but not during the day. So you get the descent narrative. You see the betrayal. One of the things I really like about this book is that this is not one of these, Dracula seems evil, but let us explain why it's not really his fault. Dracula is evil. He is motivated by power, and he will do absolutely anything to get it, and he will betray anybody he has to betray. He is utterly obsessed with power. There's no goodness in him, really. Oh, he might not be, consciously evil every second of the day. He could eat a sandwich without being evil while he does it. But, as soon as he's done with the sandwich, it's back to evil. I like that. And it's a study on that kind of person and what they do to those around them. And so it's very powerful in that regard. Now, here's the part that might be just a little bit spoilery. So I'm going to bring up the little spoiler thing. What also really impressed me is that there's a fractal nature to this story. Dracula's origin here is reminiscent of Lucifer's own origin in wanting power and imminence and rebelling, from God to get it. And of course, ultimately losing. And so the first thing Dracula does when he begins studying is figuring out ways he can best Lucifer. So immediately he's looking to betray Lucifer. You're not going to have power over me. And he makes his power play. And of course fails. And Lucifer's kind of like, oh man, did you think you could actually defeat me? Did you really think you could defeat me, you little fool? Well, meanwhile, could God not give the same speech to Lucifer? I am the creator and sustainer of the universe. I am all. Did you think you could really defeat me? Of course, from God, it would be coming from a slightly different angle. From Lucifer, it's, it's from a very, evil, ugly place. But I like that that there's that fractal nature of, Dracula's sort of a mirror of Lucifer himself. And I like that kind of storytelling. It gives it more of a mythic feel. So I think with that said, we can take off the little spoiler alert. Really nice image here at the end of the book of Dracula in all of his, glory. But beyond that, you also get to see scripting. You get to see some, how some of the art developed from Kelley Jones. He does an extraordinary piece of work on this book. So you get some insights, some early concept drawings of Dracula, little biographies of the primary artists. Dracula Book 2, The Brides. Ooh, boy. Yeah, that'll probably be a difficult one for me to show much of on this channel. So, Dracula. I was really looking forward to this book. And I was not disappointed in the least. The art is fantastic throughout. Again, if for some reason you don't like Kelley Jones' style, obviously you wouldn't probably like this. If you do, I think you're going to really love it. It is gory. It is no holds barred. Like I said, I'm going to have to probably edit quite a few pages out of the video just to make sure YouTube doesn't freak out on me. It is absolutely not for children. Nor I would say immature adults who probably won't really get it. But it's a really powerful story of the makings of a fiend, and the fact that even before he was this supernatural fiend, he was already a fiend, this guy. And again, about the only quibble I had with it at all was a little bit of the anachronistic language. It's minor. It's not that big a deal. And I understand why it's done the way it's done. So it's not really a big deal. But other than that, this is a really, really nice piece of work. The quality of the cover, the binding is really nice. I don't think you're going to have a problem with that. So if you have any kind of interest in Dracula, in horror, in the work of Wagner and Jones, I think you're going to want to get this book. And I do believe it is available out there. Maybe not this cover. I'm not sure which cover I grabbed now. One of the covers might have only been available in the Kickstarter. But go out there, do Google search Amazon. You'll find it, I'm sure, if it's out there. And think about investing a few bucks. There's more to come. There's more to come. And I think it's going to be a really, really good series when it is finally finished. So, Book 1, The Impaler. Book 2 is The Bride's coming soon. Check it out. Dracula, Matt Wagner, Kelley Jones. Awesome stuff. That'll do it for this little peek, this sort of a review. Again, it's difficult to do reviews when you're trying to avoid as many spoilers as possible. But that'll do it for this one. If you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you have any questions as well, I'd be happy to try to answer them if I can, especially if I can do it without adding any spoilers, to what I've already said. But until next time, God bless everybody. I know it sounds weird to say that with this image in front of you, but look, there is evil in the world and it must be confronted. God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. I will see you soon, hopefully, in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Happy Halloween.